In today's class, we are going to discuss about early poets of Indian English literature. And among the early poets, we are going to discuss Derozio, Sri Aurobindo, Torudutt, Michael Madhusudan Dutt, and Sarojini Naidu. What we are going to discuss is their works, the themes of their works, the background, and everything from the exam point of view, that is UGC NET JRF. So let's start with the historical context of the phase. So the historical context starts with 1800 to 1920. So this was the pioneer phase of Indian writing in English, and it emerged at the intersection of many things like British colonialism, Bengal Renaissance, Christian missionary education, and first generation of Indians who were educated in English medium institutions. So what are the key historical forces that shaped Indian English poetry? The Bengal Renaissance, which started from 1820 and lasted till 1920. Then Macaulay's Minute on Education, Christian missionary schools, the Romantic movement in England, like Byron, Shelley, Keats, and Wordsworth, were primary literary influences. Pioneer Indian poets absorbed Romantic convention from them, and they produced literature with the influence from the influences of the Romantic poets of England. Nationalist awakening. So there was nationalist awakening among the people of India, and Indian National Congress was also founded in 1885. Therefore, the poetry increasingly carried a nationalist charge. Then the poets, the early phase poets, are Henry Derozio, Michael Madhusudan Dutt, Toru Dutt, Sri Aurobindo, and Sarojini Naidu. The primary influences of Henry Derozio is British Romanticism plus Bengali nationalism. So mostly the poems of Henry Derozio consisted of British Romanticism and Bengali nationalism. Then Michael Madhusudan Dutt primary influence was classical Sanskrit, Milton, and Byron. Toru Dutt's primary influence was French symbolism plus Sanskrit legend. Sri Aurobindo, classical Greek, Vedanta, and Milton. Sarojini Naidu was romantic lyric and Indian cultural nationalism. And the dates are mentioned here. You can screenshot this table so that you can remember it even when you are not watching this video. Then we start with Henry Louis Derozio, Vivian Derozio, who is also known as first national poet of modern India. When we look at the biographical background of the poet, we find that he was born to an Anglo-Indian father of Portuguese descent and an Indian mother. And despite his mixed ancestry, he passionately identified himself as Indian. He never thought himself any less Indian, and he was educated in English. He excelled in English literature, and he developed a deep love for romantic poets, particularly Byron and Shelley. Also, he was appointed teacher at Hindu College, Calcutta, at just age of 17 in 1826. He founded Academic Association, Young Bengal Movement, a radical group of students who questioned orthodox Hindu society, caste, and superstition. So he was the founder of Young Bengal Movement, which was a radical group consisted of only students who questioned the orthodox, the traditions of Hindu society, caste, and superstition. His free thinking view alarmed conservative society, and because of that, he was dismissed from Hindu College in 1831. So, he was appointed as a teacher in 1826 and he was dismissed from Hindu College in 1831. He died very young at the age of 22, having published poetry that would define Indian English verse for a generation. His key works are To India, My Native Land, and the significance of this is it's the most anthologized Indian English poem, nationalist elegy for a fallen India. So, in this poem, he expresses his sadness for India, actually, not India, fallen India, that is the British occupied India. The Fakir of Jangira, his another key work, which is a narrative poem, and it is the first Indian English narrative poem. It consists of romance and social reform as theme. So Fakir of Jangira is first Indian English narrative poem. These are the important points which you need to remember for the exam. To the pupils of Hindu College. This is another work of Henry Vivian Derozio, and it's a sonnet. To the pupils of Hindu College is a sonnet. In it, he urges students to seek truth and question traditions. Poems, his collection of poems, first published collection, and it is Byronic in tone. And the last is the Harp of India. It's also a sonnet, and it's a lament for India's fallen glory. It's a musical metaphor. So let us revise the key works of Henry Vivian Derozio. First is To India, My Native Land. Second, The Fakir of Jangira. Third, To the Pupils of Hindu College. Fourth, his collection of poems. And fifth is The Harp of India. The significance are given, the form are given, and the year is also given. You just need to screenshot this table so that you can look at it afterwards and revise while you're not watching this video. What are the themes he used in his works? The nationalist elegy was the most important theme in his work. He mourns for India's lost glory under colonialism. The nation is depicted as once glorious civilization brought to its knees, and the symbolism used are broken harp, withered garland, and chained eagle. Second is awakening and intellectual freedom. His poems calls on Indians, especially youth, to shed superstition and embrace rational inquiry. Third is romantic melancholy and the Byronic hero. He was influenced by Byron and Shelley, and he cultivates a brooding, passionate persona like Byron. The poet speaker is solitary, idealistic, and doomed, a rebel against social and political oppression. Fourth is nature as a mirror of national mood. He uses nature to mirror the mood of nation. And fifth, the last one is social reform. In the Fakir of Jangira, he touches on the topic of sati and presents a romanticized reformist argument, which was unusual for 1820s. Poetic techniques used in his work are the form. The form is primarily Petrarchan, and Shakespearean sonnets are used. Also, blank verse narrative. Diction is mostly romantic. Imagery like harp, eagle, garland, ruins, all encoding national laws are used, and the tone of his poems are mostly elegiac, passionate, occasionally declamatory. So these are something you need to remember for Henry Vivian Derozio. If you have any doubt regarding anything, you can comment below and I will look at it and try to solve it. in my next video.